to Off the Shelf. I'm your host, Yvonne Wolf. Today, our special guest is Shamsa Ismaili. She's the author of 2 books. I met her at the Holiday Bazaar at Glenbrook South High School in December 2019. Welcome, Shamsa.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Tell us about how you started your first book, Zindagi.
So I started writing Zindagi in 2012. And the reason was I wanted to share my own life, my own experience. Zindagi literally means life. And my book is called Zindagi, A Journey of Life.
Sorry, go ahead.
It is my life that I wanted to share and, hope and wish that people would learn, especially women, they would learn from my experiences and what I have been through. The book Zindagi is, the main character is Zuleika, and her life follows my life, which is starting off in a very small town in India called Cuttack. I grew up there, and then my marriage was arranged, and I moved to Pakistan, and I lived there for quite a few years, 3-4 years with my husband, and then we had the opportunity to move to America.
And this is really good to know that your Zindagi has a little bit of that autobiographical flavor, but it's not entirely autobiographical, right?
No, it is not. The reason being, I wanted to add some drama, so I added new characters, some events to make it really interesting. And I feel like drama, romance, those are the spices that actually make a real good book and a novel, and it's more enjoyable for the readers. So I did add some more characters in there and events.
But there's nothing boring about living in another country or living in 2 different countries.
No, it's not really. There is so much to learn. Every country that, India, Pakistan, or America, we have our own culture. And the journey is to accept and live in that culture.
Yes.
And be part of that culture.
Yes.
And, the biggest part about my book is about having an education.
Yeah.
And that's something that I wanted to convey to my readers, the importance of education.
And that's really true. It's so true that moving to another country, living in another country, it changes us as individuals. It changes our marriage, right? I mean, just moving here from Los Angeles to Illinois, I feel it's been a big change for my husband and myself raising children here. And that comes to us to the point of maybe who is your audience? Who do you see as your readers?
The target audience for my book Zindagi is for women, women from different cultural backgrounds, marginalized families that have migrated to the US, and especially with young children not having sufficient education to be able to come to this country and raise children and if you get the opportunity to really go back to school, which is what I did.
Yes.
I went back to the university. I got an engineering degree, and that's something that I wanted to convey to my readers and women that everything is possible.
Yes.
To get an education, it can change your life. It can change your family's life. And if
Yes.
you get the opportunity, make sure you avail that opportunity.
And your heroine takes all these opportunities and thrives in the United States. That's a really important message. So when was this book written?
I started writing the book in 2012, and this was my first book. I don't have, it's just a hobby. It's not, something that I was educated in, but I love to read books, and I thought I had a pretty interesting story, and so I started writing the book. It took me over a year to finish, and then another year to get it edited and then published. So Zindagi was published in 2014.
I love the cover. The cover looks very professionally done. Where did you get that photo, or did you choose that photo, take that photo?
Yes, I did buy that picture, but the background, everything, I actually did it myself. So I used the editor that was available, and then I went ahead and made the cover.
And what about Bound by Destiny? Is it fiction?
Yes, Bound by Destiny is 100% fictional. These characters are a figment of my imagination. I came up with that story just talking about it, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So I ran it by my husband, and he's like, "Yeah, that is good material. Maybe you could write a novel." And so that's what I did. I came up with the new book, Bound for Destiny.
And you knew the end before you started the book, right? I mean,
Yes.
tell us how you go about writing a love story.
Um, So the novel is about, it's a love triangle. It's about twin sisters, Paro and Tara. They are from a middle class family. And so the Paro falls in love with her dad's employer's son. And of course, they are from a very rich family. And the hero in my story, Sanjay, he is in love with Tara, the younger of the twin. So that is how those three characters, they play the role, the main characters in my story. And of course, I have to think through the whole story before I can start writing. So I want to make sure I know what the end is going to be. So then in that way, I can mold my story and, create events and try to flow the chapters one into the other and come to the end.
That's really lovely to know that how to craft a book. Now there is a Ismaili Center on Shermer and Goff in Glenview, and your last name is Ismaili. Is there any connection?
That's well, the Ismaili Center is actually um, our community center. It is our house of prayers, as well as our community center where we have social gatherings. So I am part of that community, and so yes, I do. Come to Glenview very often to attend the prayer ceremonies there, and also have social gatherings, meet up with friends. I've been going there ever since it opened up. My children, they are also part of that community, and we've been friends. I have friends there that have been friends with me ever since I moved here. So we are all part of a very big community, and we do a lot of social events. We have outreach programs, and all in all, it's something that keeps us rooted in this country.
Very nice to know that. And this was built about 10 years ago?
Approximately that time, yeah.
Yeah, it looks very new, very nice.
Yes, thank you.
And so this is that's called a Jamakana, or how do you say that?
Yeah, we call it a Jamaat Khana.
Jamakana, sorry.
Jamaat Khana. It literally means house of people, So, and that's what it is. It's our community center,
Oh,
and
good.
also house of prayer.
I'm glad to learn a new word. Just have to learn to say it right. Jamakala, Kana. So, what kind of feedback have you received from your readers for the two books?
So far, everybody that has read my book, and mostly, women in our community, we do, like I said, have social events. So we do have book clubs, and I have been invited as an author to the book club, and a lot of the women in our community, they have purchased my book, and the feedback that I
That's
get
great.
is really positive. I've been able to actually meet people that have come up to me and said, after reading your book, I've been so motivated that I want to
Oh.
go back to school. I want to continue my education because when I came
Yes.
here, I was really young and I was already married. I had kids. But reading your book, it really inspires me. And I feel
Mm.
even I can do it. I can go back to school and I can get an education. So that really, really makes me really happy.
Oh, that is very gratifying. And I also think that you're furthering this message of personal responsibility. And in our country, I mean, in America, I feel there's just so many opportunities. I mean, there's a variety of, let's say, um, advanced degrees. You can get AA, you can BA, or 4 years or 2 years, where I don't think it's true in other countries. I mean, for my heritage is in China or Taiwan, and these Eastern Asian countries just don't have as many options if you don't go for 4 year, let's say.
That's true. And one more thing that is, I feel different. Maybe times have changed now.
Hmm.
But when I was growing up, I mean, once you got married, you're done. There is no more going back to school.
Right.
School is for young kids, not
Yes.
for women, not for
Yes.
women that are married with children. But
Yes.
in this country, education has no age limit. When I was in class, I thought I would be the oldest one in the classroom, but that was
Yes.
not true. There are people that were much older than me, and they were there to get an education just like me. So, why not take the best, make the best of the opportunity that has been provided?
Oh, it's so true. That is so true. And I think that's very encouraging, especially you feel like, oh, in this country I may not know the language that well, but you don't. I mean, there's no language problems, right? Because India is an English-speaking country,
That's
or
yeah.
is different use of English, or is it, pretty easy to get through an education program here?
Well, it depends on what kind of family or you
Yeah,
come from.
previous education.
Yeah, that it makes difference. I was actually blessed and thankful that I was sent to an English medium school. My mother was she was my supporter, and she always, she used to fight with my dad. My dad is like, why do you want to get her go, let her go to a school, an English medium school? She's a girl. She doesn't need that education. She's going to get married. And my mom is like, no, no. It's very important that even women and girls get an education because education is like an international passport. You
Yes.
can go anywhere and you will be able to make a life for yourself if you have a good education. So I'm really thankful that I did have the opportunity growing up to go to an English medium school.
Oh, that's really nice to know how you are contributing to your community with a book that it was started out as a hobby, and you just keep working on it, and you build relationships as well with your book. And your books are available on Amazon, right? Did you have any trouble transferring the manuscript to Amazon formatting?
And no, it wasn't really difficult for me. I guess that's because I do have a software background. I was able to manage the transfer quite easily. So yes, like you said, both my books are available on Amazon, and I do have hard copies, like so, available.
Yes.
And then I also have soft copies available if you want to download it to Kindle,
Hmm.
and they are all available on Amazon.
You mean as ebook?
Ebook, yes.
Yes, okay. And those two formatting is different, right? I mean, you just don't run the same formatting for both ebook and a hard copy.
No, it's a little different. It's a little different. So, but it was pretty easy to follow all the instructions that they provide. And they do have supports in case you want to call them up. And if something doesn't work, people are available to help you out.
Well, tell us about any social media marketing that you do. I mean, this past year has probably posed some obstacle, right, to um, in-person marketing events.
That's true. Yes, the last marketing event that I went to was the one where I met you back in 2019. And I have done after that. I did do a couple of book. We had a book club, and I was invited, but it was through Zoom. But I do have a web page, a Facebook page for both my books. And what I have done is every time I've been to events personally, I take pictures with whoever wants to buy my book, or just, have a picture with them with my book, and I put it up on my Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this way, they also feel happy that, oh, I have a picture with with Shamsa and her
Right.
book, and it's good publicity for me as well. So I do get their permission before I post it up on social media, but that is one way of promoting my books.
Shamsa, you mentioned that your book has been selected for book clubs. Isn't that a good way to get your message out there?
Most definitely. And the audience is my target. There we have book clubs for women in our community where we meet every month. And the person who is in charge has really been a very, very big supporter. And she has been pushing me. And it's, I think, because of her that I actually started writing a third book.
Yeah.
Like, you have written two books. It's been 4 years. Shamsa, we need one more book from
Oh.
you.
Oh.
So I've been taking advantage of this COVID situation, where I'm not able to go out and have a very good, social life anymore. So I've been spending more time. And in fact, I've started really writing my third book. So I'm taking advantage of that, this
Oh,
COVID situation.
that's wonderful to know that you're plugging away using the writing opportunity of this time where we're still really under a formal quarantine. Shamsa, who inspires you to write?
Well, my husband is my biggest supporter, and he's always been there for me, through thick and thin, through everything. He's the one who encouraged me to go back to school to get a degree. It wasn't easy, coming from just a high school diploma to going to a university to study an engineering degree. But he has always been behind me, supporting me, and he worked two jobs so I could go back to school. So I can't thank him enough. He's the rock in my life. And I don't think I would be able to do anything without his support and his encouragement.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. And your children, they are definitely all grown up. They're old enough to read your books, right?
Yes, actually, my children, I have two boys. They're both married, and they have kids of their own. I have three granddaughters and a fourth one on the way. So yes, and they have all read my books, I should say. My sons, my daughter-in-laws, yes, they have read it. My family, my parents, they have all read it. So, and I always, they have supported me. So I'm glad to have their support.
Your books are also available at public libraries, or
Yes, as a matter of fact, when we last met at the Holiday Bazaar, I did drop off a couple of copies for the high school, as well as for a couple of copies for the Glenview Library. And I have also dropped off a couple of copies of my book to the Palatine Library, which is where I live. So they are available at the library. If somebody is interested, they can check it out.
now what is your message for our authors out there?
Wow. I think that, us authors are one of a kind. It's not easy writing a book, and I can say that because it's from my personal experience. It's not easy. It takes a long time. It takes perseverance. It takes commitment, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. So my message to the author is, my fellow people, is, what? Don't give up. Be strong. Be persistent. And in the end, you will have a book that you want to have. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Shamsa. I love those inspiring words. Be persistent and keep working at it.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
And thank you for watching. Join us next time on Off the Shelf.